Sometimes, the greatest victory is the one no one sees, the moment you choose peace instead of anger, silence instead of reaction, wisdom instead of impulse. Welcome to Stoic Valor, where every word is designed to awaken your inner strength and remind you that the most powerful weapon you can carry is your mind. The ancient Stoics believed that the key to a peaceful life lies not in controlling the world, but in mastering our response to it. Their philosophy was not about cold detachment, but about deep understanding, a way of seeing reality as it truly is, without distortion or illusion. To live as a Stoic is to live awake. It is to know that the universe will not bend to your desires, yet your mind, your judgment, your choices, your perspective can remain unshaken amidst the chaos. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That is the essence of Stoicism. Control what you can, accept what you cannot, and find serenity in the space between the two. Let us begin with the first principle, control and acceptance. When something disturbs you, it is not the thing itself, but your judgment about it. A traffic jam, a harsh word, a failure. These are neutral events until your mind gives them meaning. The Stoic does not deny emotion, but observes it, questions it, and reclaims command over it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Imagine your mind as a fortress. Every insult, disappointment, or inconvenience is like a wave crashing against its walls. If your foundation is built on reason and clarity, the waves may roar, but they will never break you. The second principle, amor fati, the love of fate, invites us to not only accept what happens, but to embrace it as necessary. To say, "This too is part of my path." Marcus Aurelius did not merely endure hardship. He learned to see purpose in it. When plague struck Rome and his empire faced revolt, he wrote in his journal, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." That is the Stoic spirit. Whatever life throws at you, you transform into fuel. The third principle, the dichotomy of control, is the foundation upon which Stoic peace is built. There are only two kinds of things, those within our control and those outside of it. Within our control are our opinions, desires, and actions. Outside of our control are the outcomes, the opinions of others, and external events. Most suffering begins when we confuse the two. We try to control the uncontrollable, and in doing so, we lose ourselves. Seneca warned, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often do you replay past mistakes or fear future pain? The Stoics teach us to live in the present, to give our full attention to what we can act upon right now. Principle 4. Memento mori. Remember that you must die. May sound dark, but it is in fact liberating. Death reminds us that life is fleeting and that most of what disturbs us is trivial in the grand scheme of things. Epictetus reminded his students that every time they kiss their child or spouse, they should remember their mortality, not out of sadness, but out of gratitude. To remember that every moment could be the last is to finally live fully. Principle 5. Virtue is the only good. To the Stoics, external success, wealth, and reputation meant nothing compared to the state of one's character. Virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance was the only true good. Everything else was indifferent. This is why Marcus Aurelius could rule the largest empire on earth and still write, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Principle 6, discipline over desire. Modern life teaches us to chase comfort, to seek pleasure, to avoid pain at all costs. But Stoicism teaches restraint, not repression, the mastery of impulses, so that your desires serve you, not enslave you. As Ryan Holiday writes, the obstacle is the way. Every challenge you resist is an opportunity to grow stronger. The Stoic does not avoid difficulty. He uses it to refine himself. Principle 7. Perception shapes reality. If your perspective is distorted, your world will be too. When you choose to see every event as training for your mind, you turn chaos into clarity. As James Clear would say, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Your system, your mind, must be trained daily to interpret events through reason, not emotion. Principle 8. Focus on the present moment. The Stoics called it living according to nature. It means aligning with what is happening right now instead of resisting it. The present is all we ever truly possess. Seneca wrote, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." Anxiety is born from the mind's attempt to live in the future. The Stoic mind returns always to the now. Principle 9. Emotions are messages, not masters. Stoicism does not teach the suppression of feeling. It teaches awareness. When anger arises, the Stoic asks, what belief created this emotion? When sadness comes, he looks within. What attachment am I clinging to? In this way, emotions become teachers. You do not destroy them, you transform them through understanding. Principle 10. Simplicity and moderation. The Stoic life is free of excess. Epictetus owned almost nothing, and yet called himself rich, for his wealth came from contentment. Modern life drowns us in distraction, but simplicity sharpens the soul. To live simply is to reclaim space for what truly matters: virtue, purpose, peace. Principle 11. Community and responsibility. The Stoics saw themselves as citizens of the world, connected to all of humanity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What brings no benefit to the hive brings no benefit to the bee." Living stoically means acting for the good of others, not out of obligation, but out of recognition that we are all part of a greater whole. Principle 12. Gratitude amidst adversity. Every morning, the Stoic wakes up and says, "Today I will meet people who are rude, arrogant, or ungrateful, but they cannot harm me, for I have chosen to be kind." Gratitude is not naive optimism. It is conscious awareness of how much remains good, even when life is hard. These principles are not just ancient words, they are blueprints for inner freedom. Each one whispers the same truth: you are not at the mercy of the world. You are the architect of your response. As Robin Sharma once said, hard times produce your higher self. And the Stoics would agree. The purpose of life is not to avoid pain, but to use it as the forge for your character. The Stoic mind does not seek a life without storms. It learns to stand still in the middle of them. There comes a moment when all the reading, all the quotes, and all the theories fade, and only your reaction remains. That moment is where Stoicism begins. In words, and start becoming armor. Let's explore how these 18 Stoic principles translate into real life, how they can become habits so ingrained that nothing and no one can truly disturb your peace. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, before checking your phone, before thinking about yesterday's problems, you sit in silence. The world is still asleep, but your mind is awake. You remind yourself, today I will meet challenges. I will face people who may frustrate me. But I control my mind, and my mind is calm. This is morning reflection, a Stoic ritual practiced by Marcus Aurelius himself. Each day he wrote to his own soul, reminding it to stay grounded. You can do the same. Before the day begins, prepare your mind as a warrior prepares for battle, not with aggression, but with readiness. Principle 13, prepare for the day. The Stoics believed that mental rehearsal builds resilience. If you expect everything to go your way, every obstacle feels like an attack. But if you expect challenge, you meet it with calm acceptance. Ryan Holiday calls this premeditation of evils. You imagine what could go wrong, not to live in fear, but to remove fear's surprise. If the meeting fails, I will learn patience. If the car breaks down, I will practice composure. If someone insults me, I will train my ego to stay silent. Each scenario becomes a chance to sharpen your virtue. Principle 14. Pause before reacting. This may be the single most powerful Stoic habit in the modern world. The pause is your sword. It is the difference between being ruled by emotion and ruling over it. When anger rises, breathe. When fear takes hold, pause. Epictetus taught that between stimulus and response, there is choice. In that choice lies your freedom. Try this. The next time you feel triggered, count 3 slow breaths. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? You'll find that 90% of what once bothered you becomes irrelevant after a few seconds of stillness. Principle 15. Voluntary discomfort. The Stoics practiced moments of intentional hardship to train the mind. Seneca would sleep on the floor, eat simple meals, and remind himself, is this the condition I so feared? When you expose yourself to mild discomfort, cold showers, fasting, silence, or solitude, you weaken fear's grip on your life. You learn that comfort is not happiness, and discomfort is not tragedy. Try once a week to practice voluntary simplicity. Leave your phone behind for a few hours. Walk without music. Sit without distraction. Listen to your thoughts instead of running from them. In that silence, before sleep, take a few minutes to review your day. Marcus Aurelius did this every night, not to judge himself harshly, but to understand. Ask yourself, where did I act with virtue today? Where did I let emotion control me? What can I improve tomorrow? This small ritual transforms chaos into clarity. Journaling is not a trend. It's a form of self-dialogue, a conversation with your own soul. Over time, it becomes a mirror reflecting who you truly are. Principle 17. See every obstacle as a lesson. The Stoic mind reframes problems as practice. When something goes wrong, the average person says, "Why me?" The Stoic says, "What is this teaching me?" Lost your job? Learn resilience. Got rejected? Strengthen self-worth. Facing illness? Practice acceptance and gratitude. This is the core of amor fati, to love not only the easy parts of life, but also the ones that challenge you. The next time life seems unfair, whisper to yourself, "This is fuel," because that's what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "A blazing fire makes brightness from everything thrown into it." Principle 18. Detach from what you cannot control. This is not about indifference. It's about liberation. The Stoics didn't want you to stop caring. They wanted you to stop clinging. You can love deeply, work passionately, and strive boldly, but you must release attachment to outcomes. Do your best and let fate decide the rest. A Stoic does not measure success by victory, but by effort aligned with virtue. When you release your obsession with control, you become untouchable. Now imagine living your entire life this way, waking with gratitude, meeting adversity with calm, ending the day with reflection. You would move through the world like a quiet storm, powerful but never chaotic. And yet Stoicism is not about perfection. Even Marcus Aurelius had moments of weakness. Even Seneca doubted himself. The goal is not to never fall, but to rise wiser each time you do. To apply Stoicism daily, you must integrate it into your habits. Start with small, repeatable actions. Morning reflection: what can I control today? Mindful pause: is this worth my peace? Evening review: what did I learn? Over time, these micro-practices build a fortress within you. You're this ataraxia, tranquility of the soul, a state where nothing external can truly disturb your internal harmony. But do not mistake Stoicism for detachment from life. It is not about suppressing passion or avoiding joy. It is about seeing everything clearly, the joy, the pain, the chaos, and choosing wisdom in the midst of it. Because life will test you. Someone will insult you. Someone will betray you. Something you built will fall apart. The question is not if, it is how will you respond? You have two options: be a slave to reaction or a student of reason. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom begins where reaction ends. The Stoic lives with calm intensity. He works hard but without obsession. He loves fully but without dependence. He acts with courage but without arrogance. He walks through storms, knowing they are temporary, that all things pass, and peace remains. This is the kind of strength the world cannot take from you. If you want to see Stoicism in action, try this simple challenge for the next 7 days. Each morning, write one Stoic principle on paper. Read it before leaving home. During the day, whenever you face difficulty, recall that principle. At night, reflect on how well you lived it. Day 1, focus only on what you can control. Day 2, practice patience with others. Day 3, embrace discomfort. Day 4, remember mortality and live fully. Day 5, reframe every problem as training. Day 6, express gratitude even for challenges. Day 7, end the day in reflection. Repeat the cycle until these ideas stop being lessons and start being your nature. If you practice this long enough, you'll notice something remarkable. The same things that once triggered you now feel like whispers. What once broke you now strengthens you. What once felt unbearable becomes the reason you are unshakable. And that is when you'll understand what the Stoics meant by inner freedom. If this message is resonating with you, don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Valor, because here we don't just reflect, we transform. Remember, philosophy is not about how you speak, it's about how you live. And if you live these principles, no insult, no loss, no pain will ever have the power to disturb your peace again. There comes a day when all the noise fades, when success and failure feel the same, when what once made you furious now only makes you smile. That is the day you realize you have become unshakable, not because life has stopped testing you, but because you no longer depend on life to be at peace. The Stoics never promised a life free of pain. They promised a mind free of slavery, a mind that refuses to be owned by anger, fear, or chaos. Marcus Aurelius lost his children, fought wars, faced betrayal, and yet wrote words filled with calm and compassion. Epictetus was born a slave, crippled in body but unbreakable in spirit. Seneca faced exile and forced death, yet his final letters were filled with serenity. Each of them lived through storms greater than ours, and still they found peace. Why? Because they understood something most people never do, that the only true power is mastery of the self. You can lose everything, your job, your status, your relationships, but as long as you control your mind, you are free. Imagine a life where no insult can disturb you, no failure can define you, no fear can own you. A life where your peace is untouchable because it depends only on you. That is what the 18 Stoic principles teach, not how to escape pain, but how to use it. Pain becomes purpose. Loss becomes wisdom. Struggle becomes strength. The Stoics saw life as a training ground for the soul. Every hardship, every irritation, every moment of waiting is your lesson. When you face difficulty, remember this: the world is not punishing you. It is refining you. Every person you meet is your mirror. The rude one teaches you patience. The arrogant one teaches you humility. The ungrateful one teaches you grace. The world is your teacher if you choose to see it that way. And so, the Stoic does not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He asks, "How can this serve my growth?" When you begin to live this way, life changes. You stop rushing. You stop arguing. You stop being pulled by the drama of others. You learn to observe rather than react, to breathe rather than explode, to forgive rather than blame. There will still be pain, but it will no longer rule you. You will still feel emotion, but it will no longer drown you. You will still face chaos, but within it, you will remain calm. That is real power, quiet, steady, unbreakable. Remember what Seneca said: "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Every challenge you face is a test of your inner armor. Every time you stay calm in the face of turmoil, you become stronger than before. And yet, Stoicism is not about becoming emotionless. It's about feeling everything deeply: joy, love, pain, but never becoming a prisoner of any of it. It is not about escaping life, but embracing it fully, with wisdom as your guide and virtue as your compass. As you walk your path, carry these truths with you. You are not your thoughts. You are not your fears. You are not your past. You are the observer, the calm center within the storm. Train your mind